Hello and welcome to Crit Chat, where we chat crit with Sam and Pip. I'm Pip and this is the first episode of our new podcast. Today we're talking to Jim, Crit Happens creator, along with two of the server's favourite furniture pieces and DMs, Jack and Andy.
So we're here to talk about Crit Happens and how it came to be and how we came to find it and what it means to everybody. So Jim, do you want to start us off? Give a bit of background about yourself and the server and where we are now with it?
Oh God, no pressure. 27-year-old Virgo male.
We want a full in-depth history, like medical history. We need to know genetics,
measurement,
like everything.
Inside leg. The full thing. Well, I don't really know where to start. Aside from it all kind of came about from a live game that completely went astray and tortured the DM into never DMing again. And I got the bug and I thought, I really want to play this. But of course, as with anything, you're always short of DMs. So could not for the life of me find anyone that was hosting games or had open games, and it was so as with anything, you think, I'll give it a turn at DMing. Incredibly nervous, and that was back in like February of 2003. It all kind of kicked off and set up a server with some complete randoms that we kind of collected off of Facebook. A couple I still kind of keep in touch with. It's just snowballed into, you guys.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. I accept apologies. Genuinely, it's been an absolute whirlwind, and I've got to say, it's been absolutely blinding meeting every single one of you. So, I can't wait for the group hug at the end of this.
We can try, just somehow.
You might be waiting a while.
A virtual kiss, I'll settle for.
You might be waiting even longer.
I'll send you some pics. You're right.
That's it. Yes, subscribe.
Okay, what about you, Jack? How did you find your way here? How long have you been here? And, what does the community give you? What does it mean to you?
I think it was I think I'm coming up for nearly a year. Must have been around December time last year. I was looking for a game. I can't remember where it was. It must have been Facebook, I think, Jim.
Yeah.
Jim had a posting for a game. I think it was the Fen Expanse of the game at the time. Landed in the Discord server, and then I think about a month or so went by before we got into a game. And we just started the Fen Expanse in January. It was pretty I don't know how many people were in the server then, actually. It wasn't that many still. It was 50? Maybe not even that much.
Yeah.
And then we kicked off that campaign, had a few sessions, got the bug, and there was obviously a lot more interest in more people playing. So I was same with what Jim said, somebody's got to do it. So I jumped into it. Started the Fantastic Friends group, with the same people, I think, bar a couple. We got mostly the same people from Fen onto Fantastic Friends, liked it even more. So then I put a post out on D&D Beyond for a few more people, and that's where you guys jumped in. What does it mean? I don't know. It's just a nice place to hang out, play D&D. Everybody's really chill. When people aren't chill, we kind of deal with that. I love it. It's good fun. We have a great time. We've got loads of memories as a result.
Andrew Pierce.
Oh, hello there. Well, where did it all start for me now? As a boy, very interested in... No, I wasn't. No, I really wasn't interested in D&D.
Oh no, all of Andy's audio and video is corrupted. Oh no.
Oh, shit. No, where it all started for me was much the same as Jack. I think I wanted to get into D&D for quite a while, so I was a big fan, much like a lot of people out there on the internet. They'll watch the old Critical Role or Dimension 20, those sort of things, and getting the idea of actually playing is a lot harder than what people think. So I got quite lucky because I didn't really search for a game, and randomly one day I joined a Facebook group. I can't even remember what that Facebook group's called now. I'm still in it. Dungeons and Dragons UK or something like that. And this strange gentleman, Jim, pops up saying, "Oh, I've got a campaign. Does anyone want to play in my campaign?"
That's how I said it.
Yeah. I read it in that voice and I thought, you know what? This guy's got something unique. There's something about him. So yeah, first message I sent, so I didn't really look at alternatives, so I feel like I should have. Maybe I would have ended up in a better community or something like that, but I've stuck with these guys. They've done all right so far. But no, what was the name of our first campaign, Jim?
It was awful. It was Aloria.
Yes. Yeah. So I still have the original campaign notes that you sent me. So I've still got all of that. I've still got all of my stuff. And yeah, I don't know if you want to talk a bit about the first campaign we did. That was insane. That was too much fun. That was really what got me into it.
Yeah, well, I can't really remember too much about it. It all started off where some dwarves' blacksmithing tools kind of went missing, and then that led to like a secret BBEG, big bad evil guy. And then I think when you came into it fully digressed into where there was a tower that was moving through the countryside, and it was just emerging at place to place, just destroying towns and stuff like that.
I had no idea what was going on. I'd never played D&D. Yeah.
So
it's nice to see nothing's changed, Andy.
Yeah,
it was great fun.
So yeah, that was it. Yeah, but. Yeah, it was great when you kind of came on board because it was just refreshing, I think, and it was the same with all of you actually. But yeah,
I'd agree. I think each and every player that sort of come in and joined the campaigns have all sort of brought their own personality and their own spin on Dungeons and Dragons. I think that's great. We're not all sort of carbon copies of each other, so that's really cool.
I like that.
Yeah, so you know, there's a lot out there on places like Reddit, and then vicariously read through YouTube and things like that. You hear a lot of horror stories. You hear a lot of awful DMs, awful players, awful communities. So why do you think Crit Happens is different? What is it that works about this place? What is it that's so welcoming to players who are experienced or new? How do you think? You know, what have you got right? What's the magic formula?
I think we just rolled a nat 20 on the people joining. it's the truth of it.
Yeah.
Sure, we've weeded a few people out over a course of a time, and I've definitely had people join a campaign or start of one, and I've been like, doesn't vibe. But yeah, I think we just got really, really lucky with the people that we got. I don't think, like, we haven't had many people that I know Adam's pretty young, isn't he? But most of us are a bit older, which is probably a bit lucky as well. But it's just good people that want to have fun and are just not assholes. It's just that, really.
Yeah, and it's the love we share for the hobby, right? So for some, it's we get engrossed in it quite a lot. For others, it is just a simple hobby of once every sort of 2 weeks. But that time that we all spend together, we have the same amount of love and passion of playing the game, and that's why I think that our campaigns work so well. Is because we all throw ourselves into whatever character we're playing at that time. So it could be Asai on a Thursday, or I'm trying to think of
You're desperately trying to think of a different character, aren't you, that isn't from Strahd?
Or Jack, the DM.
Yeah.
I'm as bad as names as Jack is. Forgive me. But that's it. I think that it's bringing a load of people together who just align on their passion and goals, really. And I think, yeah, as Jack said in the beginning, we rolled a nat 20. We done all right.
Yeah, I think it's nice because everybody's really passionate about it, but everybody sees it as being not that deep. It's a game,
of course,
and I think that's nice because you don't have the people going, well, you do actually. There's absolutely so much rules in our games, but it's never like you can't do that because of X, Y, and Z. It's just, are you supposed to be able to do that?
Pip, can you roll to hit on Magic Missile, please?
Fuck off. You don't know one fact about a really important item that lives in your inventory and you're mocked about it forever.
Well, and that's the other thing. We can bully each other and hit around here without too much recourse, right? That's the fun of it.
I am going to go to bed and cry after this, but you know.
I love that you caveat that with too much recourse. So there is recourse.
Yes.
Yeah. Not too much. You go back and you think about what you said and you're like, this is a bit mean, but yeah.
Well, I think purely as a player, like you three gentlemen are all largely DMs as well, but I think as a player who's come to it new, I think we're very lucky as players as well, because, you know, I've been shown so much patience when I'm trying to learn, or when I don't, you know, if I question something, not because I think it's wrong, but because I don't understand, and the amount of patience that I've been shown in trying to learn this at 40 years old, I think I feel really lucky that you're all very gracious and you're all very patient, and actually you put an awful lot of passion into us as players. You know, when we're playing the campaigns, we know that we're going to get a really kick-ass story out of whatever backstory we gave you for our characters, whether it's a couple of sentences or a 7-page novella. You know, we really feel the love back from you, and actually that's really good as well. And I think it helps to strengthen those bonds when it's a two-way street.
Yeah, very much so. I think, especially when it goes back to sort of teaching new players how to play. Like, I think I could speak for Jim and Jack here in this. We singular, we don't all know the rules 100%, but collectively we get there, right? Whenever there's one of those really niche rulings that you just go, I'm not too sure I should rule that, Jack will probably know. Or likewise, if Jack goes, yeah, I'm not sure I'd rule that, he asks me my opinion on it and we give opinions. So teaching new players, we're still learning ourselves. So yeah, we've got all the patience in the world for stuff like that.
That's it. I also think that like one of the barriers to kind of getting in the game is that like when you're on the outside, it looks like a club. It looks like a clique of people that is quite scary to kind of break into. You're like, I don't know anything, and there's all these people that seem to have this forgotten law, and I think we've all had experience as stat boys and things like that you know, seem to have the lowdown on everything, and it really shouldn't be a barrier. It should be, don't worry, no one knows it all. DMs don't know it, the players don't know it, but you know, what Pip said, let's have some fun. Let's just, let's have a smile for about 3 hours, and then that
is the priority over everything. It's just have fun.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't matter. If you're not having fun, you're not having fun. But here we make sure everybody's having fun. Sometimes. If you have too much fun, I will cut that shit out. And I'll make sure you know your place. But then we'll have fun again afterwards. It's all good.
No, I exclusively have trauma.
which is fine.
What?
Because
of the group, or-
because my DMs just keep killing the things I love.
I've done that.
That's fine. Yeah, well, that's because in your campaign, Pip's the main character. But
Well, no, he has done that. What his loophole is the fact that you can't kill something that didn't exist.
You can't.
He existed in my heart.
The feelings were real.
Back to what you were saying before was like about helping players that are new. There's like an investment in doing that, right? Because you then enjoy it more because you've felt that patience or you felt that support, and therefore you're enjoying it more, and therefore you want to play more, and therefore we get to play more. Like, we only get to play if players want to play. And people only want to play with us as DMs if they appreciate us as DMs and they don't think we're assholes, and we do put on a good game and we help each other and we support you. So I'm not saying this is the only reason, but it's in our interest to do that. But also, just, a DM is somebody who wants to provide an experience, a positive experience, through a story and the gameplay to other people. So if there's a DM out there that's like getting new players in and doesn't have the patience to help them, support them, and help them learn, then I don't understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's so that they can end up on Reddit
That's it. Yeah.
as a D&D
Right,
horror story. That's the only reason anybody would do it not right.
As a headline. That's it.
I think I enjoy DMing so much just to get to watch what the players get up to. So obviously when you're a player, it's your story at the end of the day. You tell the story, you progress the story, you do whatever choices you want. I just love being a DM where I just get to pick up a garden rake and just chuck it in front of you all and just see if you stand on it. Really good fun.
9 times out of 10, we do.
Chuck a couple of rocks. Oh, look, a shiny thing. That can't be dangerous. Chuck that in front of you.
He's a totally trustworthy NPC.
It's like, you've made it 12 sessions without eating or drinking anything. Here's a tavern with free food.
Ooh, how fortunate. Listen, this is going to pick up. I think I'll pick this up now.
I like to think I give a good balance of like joy and trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't random rainbows all the time.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
I had plenty of trauma this week.
So even finding you two was pretty lucky to find 2 people that are into the community and the game as much, because that was just a random Discord post that you guys managed, that you responded to, of which there were many, and not Discord, D&D Beyond post.
Well, no, I came via James. Yeah, I came via Facebook. So Jim had posted in, I think it was Dungeons and Dragons UK, saying that he had a campaign. Obviously replied and sort of said, "Oh, I'd like to play," but he'd filled it obviously with you absolute fuckers. But he said he'd sent us the link to the Discord, and he was like, "Look, as soon as there's like a game available, I'll let you know." So I've been in the server since December last year.
Oh, right.
And then I think I did a couple of one-shots that came up.
You did one of mine, right?
Yeah, I think that was the first one I did.
The one where I was
in? The first one yeah.
I was playing Boris. Hello. I am Boris with big sword.
The one in the temple. We didn't get to finish it.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't the one. Because the one that I was in with you, Andy, was the one where Adam killed
all the innocents.
The commoners with the giant spiders. I think that was one that Jim ran.
No, that was Jack.
Was it Jack?
That was Jack.
That was after.
Yeah.
I ran one before that.
Yeah. So I did a one shot with Jack, and then I think it was like a month later, you popped up in my DMs with Sam and
Sam,
someone else.
Slid into the DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came from Facebook, I think. I think I just saw that there was this campaign running. I didn't get to join it, but I joined the Discord. I have to admit, I didn't hold out much hope because I tried a few different times other, Discords or online communities, and it just kind of fizzled into nothing. But I was lucky enough to get the chance to play. I know I played one of Jim's one shots, and I think I played one with you, Jack, as well. And for reasons I still can't fathom, you were kind enough to invite me to Fandelver. And it just all went from there, really, never looked back. So I'm truly grateful for that.
Jack looked at you, Sam, and went, she looks easy to traumatize.
He was not wrong.
She looks like she'd be really easy to drown in session 0.
Tick.
Oh, yeah, I did do that.
Yeah, so that felt really lucky because I'd like Sam, I'd spent ages sort of trawling Facebook groups and trying to find like even local in-person games for me, which is like finding a fucking needle in a haystack.
Did you find that?
No.
Yeah.
If I could be asked, I'd travel Edinburgh and play one of yours, but not happening.
It must have been Jacob and Adam that I got for D&D Beyond then. Can't remember.
Yeah, because they were already, them and Soul were already in the campaign when me and Sam got offered it.
Okay.
So
shows how much I remember about my own campaign.
It was nearly a year ago.
God, has it really been that long?
Yeah, February
We started.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool. What are we talking about next? Fuck me.
I suppose it's probably really exciting for you guys as well. Not exciting is probably not the right word. But it's probably really good for you guys as well when you see like Jacob coming in and deciding that he wants to start DMing. And obviously that then adds to the server because it means that we've got more people joining to play games and then the cycle begins again.
And it's also like when somebody I know from especially being a player sort of says, hey, I wouldn't mind getting into DMing. That makes me excited because I'm like, hey, you get to experience what it's like to be a DM, and it just makes me excited for them to be excited about it because it's just so cool. The feeling when you get when your players are sad, when your players are happy, when they're off just doing some random crap, it's that feeling as a DM is just so good, and just getting having somebody else go on and experience that like Jacob is awesome. I love it when new people start DMing.
It grows the community as well, which is cool. But that's not the most important bit. Like the most important bit is that somebody else is going to the effort to create fun for everybody else, which is really cool. And not only because Jacob's also doing a different RPG system as well. He's doing an alien RPG, which is also really cool for the community to get involved in something slightly different. So yeah, it is good. I think it's nice that people are willing to do that as well, like learn from each other. Like, Jim inspired me to do it because I thought it was really cool. I loved the game. I thought the way he did it was really good, so I wanted to have a go at it. And I think other people kind of like picked up from other DMs and they've gone, yeah, I want to give that a whirl. So
yes, it's exactly what I did. So when Jim was my first DM, and even now to this day, I will always look at Jim for inspiration whenever I need to. Whenever I need to describe a scene, it's one skill you have, Jim, that I'm trying to get up to your level. I can describe a scene to a point where you can lucidly sort of image what you've got in your head, right? You can imagine a tavern I'm explaining. When we play with you, I know exactly where the barman is stood. I know what they look like. I know what sounds are in that tavern. You very, very much lucidly describe everything. That's a skill that I've always wanted to pick up on. Now, I started DMing shortly after you started DMing, Jack. So I picked up a lot of the mechanical nature from you as well. So you introduced us to Foundry. You introduced us to a lot of the automated systems and stuff like that, which really made it a whole lot easier and more sticking to sort of rules as written, that type of deal. But then that allowed me to sort of generate my own style of getting the mechanics, the rules as written, the lucid descriptions from Jim, and then I just started making up random shit in my campaigns. That's sort of my DM style. But yeah, I owe a lot to these two specifically for the DM I am today.
No, you guys are an inspiration to me. So Jack, yours is amazing. Is just, and the fact is that you're very astute, and you've got everything kind of, you've got stuff refined. Yours, Andy, is so engaging that you are just kind of like, when you start playing, although Jack and I laugh and we just trigger each other off constantly, it's just brilliant. But yeah, you've got nothing to thank me for. You guys have just it. You guys are the inspiration. So,
well, I mean, without you, Jim, we wouldn't have somewhere to play. So without you, none of the campaigns in this server would exist, and we'd all be very, very sad in our house, all alone every night.
Untrue. But again, it goes back to what Jack says. It's the people, it's you guys that kind of made the community. There's dozens of servers. You've got about 6 on your thing, and it's just about the fact that the right people just fell in there and they bounce off each other and they want to contribute and they want to open themselves up. And it's that I think is quite special. So, yeah, it's you guys. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to get teary.
Jim!
That's it.
First episode, everyone cries.
That's it.
Great success.
So I know you guys are asking the questions. I get that, but so for you then, as players, like, how does it as a community? How does it feel? Because we know how it feels as like DMs, right? And we know the work that we do behind the scenes to make the campaigns work and stuff like that. But having dropped in as players, like, what does that mean to you?
I mean, it's given me somewhere where like I feel like I belong. Like being able to sit and nerd out about things like changes to the player's handbook and deciding between like how to make a fucking tabaxi go 300 feet in 6 seconds, or like how I get an AC of 42. It's fun, and it's nice to have people who understand that. And then like the difference in like playstyle. So obviously I play with you, Jack, and Andy, and I have played with Jim. Like Jack, the fact that you managed to run 2 campaigns that are the same module, but they are so completely different, genuinely amazes me, and I'm not sure how you managed to keep track of it. But then like Curse of Strahd is just an absolute clusterfuck of chaos, and honestly, I think I laugh more like just watching people's reactions to what's happening, because Jim and Jack set each other off on like a near constant basis. Like,
I'm sorry, but it's not me that's made up the character that shits and shoes.
My head is full of weird and wonderful things.
The real reason we're here tonight, Andy, is this is an intervention for all of your phobic tendencies in Strahd.
An intervention implies I've done something wrong. I've done nothing wrong.
So many wrong things. But yeah, it's nice to have somewhere where like I know I can come and enjoy myself and there's no pressure, and it basically feels like the equivalent of sitting in a room and playing with friends in real life. Just obviously I don't get to roll my actual dice ever.
I'd echo what Pip says. Like, you know, I have IRL friends, but a lot of them we've grown
I
up,
didn't say that.
we've moved apart. Yeah, I'm getting to that bit. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm building my own backstory. Okay,
don't talk for me, Sam. I don't have friends.
We've grown up. We've moved away from each other. I've always been a standard nerd, and I've always wanted to try D&D, but I missed out on that whole phase. I never went to university, which is where a lot of my friends got into it and things like that. So, and then of course there was COVID, which made it very difficult for people to meet up, find groups and things like that. So this community to me does really feel like a place where I belong. I'm actually like super shy. I worry a lot. I have a lot of social anxiety, which you probably noticed if you played with me for more than 5 minutes. But the people here have been really patient and helped me to settle in and understanding, helped me to learn. And it does feel natural. It does feel like sitting down with a group of friends, and whether we're playing D&D, whether we're just chatting nonsense or playing something else that's unrelated to D&D, it just feels really good. I look forward to being able to come and sit down, and I wish there were more nights in the week where I could sit down, with everybody. And it's even just if there's content that comes out that it's a game I've not been involved in, or content that I've not been involved in, it still feels like catching up with old friends, sitting and watching that as well, because the people behind it. You can still laugh along with them and stuff. And it just does feel really warm and welcoming. And I really love it. I love it so much. This is my community. This is my friendship group.
Same. Very much so. My real life friends are all into cars and drinking. I can't be dealing with that anymore. It's boring. I want to play fantasy Dungeons and Dragons in my head.
I want to pretend to be 2 feet shorter than I am in magic.
True.
I want to pretend I'm a beautiful woman who can sing and play instruments and is good at anything.
I also want to pretend what it's like to be a beautiful woman and play instruments. It's great. I could do that here.
You mentioned earlier about how the 2 campaigns I run are so very different despite being the same module. That's only because of the players, though.
Yeah.
That is the only reason. The 2 things are so far. Here we go. They're so far apart because you got one group that I think even if you took all the people from both groups and put them into any configuration of players, they'd all have a great time. Doesn't matter. But it just so happens that one of the groups are just utter chaos. and the other is actually driven into the story, got their strat sorted, they're really interested in the mechanics and the things that are it doesn't matter what I do with the Fantastic Friends, because I could throw up the biggest obvious railroady, go over here, do this thing, and they'll be like, nah.
No.
And the unsigned.
We're just going to stand around in the woods for 3 hours and get lost and throw a goblin in a tree. I'll fight with it. So you asked, how do I remember all the stuff? I don't have to remember anything about Fantastic Friends. There's no prep required there.
Yes, in the last session, you spent 4 hours fucking around. And in this session, you're going to spend 4 hours fucking around.
Jack's session prep is he makes a road and maybe a house, and then just goes, right, begin, go.
And not even that, is an X on a map.
Yeah.
That's where we're meant to get to, and several sessions later we haven't got there.
It took you a whole session to walk from literally from one place to another.
Yeah,
very far away.
It was how you described a scene for about a total of 10 seconds. You was like, yeah, you're in the woods, there's a load of trees. We stayed there for about 2 hours, just chucking goblins in trees.
I remember that campfire where Andy decided to go for a walk in the woods, and that took about 2 sessions just because Andy got lost, and then we started following, and then we all got lost. Oh, it's brilliant.
So I don't have to remember anything about them. I just throw the module in front of them and then let them run, and they either do it or they don't. But you guys, you've gotten so much further ahead now, and because we play more often, but because you guys have gotten so far ahead that I've more stuff has happened. There's more to remember. I've thrown in more homebrew with you guys, but I don't make a lot of notes, which is evident from the fact I don't remember anybody's fucking names. But I don't know. I just roll with it. I just let it happen.
That's my job.
Do you remember the names from your own module, though, Jack? Who's the guy you first meet in Lost Mines of Fandelver on the cart?
Oh, even I know this.
Jack, come on, I know this.
Carbon Wester. So I remember that.
All right. I'll let him on.
Yeah. I remember my own, most of them.
Jack is terrible at any name. You can introduce an NPC, 5 minutes later, he's just forgotten it. He knows what the NPC's about, just can't remember his name. Not a clue.
Name's not the important bit.
True.
My character doesn't remember.
Speak for yourself.
I know Dimitri now. I remember Dimitri. I'll never forget Dimitri.
What's the second name?
It doesn't matter.
Leskov.
Yeah, I'll just change it to that. That's fine. Better than what I got.
That's the answer. It's every time that Jack can't remember a name, you just change the name.
So what's great at the moment, so I've given these guys a bit of a few curveballs of Curse of Strahd. I like to homebrew certain things in Curse of Strahd. I'm doing a lot of stuff to do with time. So a lot of things for the players to be able to figure out. Now, they've got probably about a third of this puzzle. But now there's just a large conspiracy theory of what's going on. Things being put together, like Illuminati signs over here that they're seeing. The number 42 will pop up somewhere, and they're just creating
Strahd is Vecna.
Strahd is Vecna for some reason. And it's great as me as a DM, because technically I don't need to think of anything now. I'll just pick the best one out of the ones that they think of. It's amazing.
That's what I do. I used to listen to you guys talk amongst yourselves, and I go, "Oh, that's actually interesting."
Yeah, that's better than what I had cooked up. I'll do that
because I had nothing planned. So yes,
I make sometimes shit on the fly.
I think that makes it better.
Yeah,
because you're not then concreted into this like railroady story where like they come to like a crossroads and they have two options. It's like they then go, oh, well, I'm just going to go diagonally straight into the woods. And you're like, okay, great.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about D&D is that you can do that. It's not like, obviously you'll get some DMs where they go, no, you can't do that. Like you can only go left or right. Like there's no other choices. But I like the fact that like all of you literally just listen to what the players are like, what absolute bullshit they're coming up with. Because let's be honest, half of what we like, the fact that Jacob and I are so concrete on this Vecna conspiracy that literally everything is Vecna.
It's got to be, isn't it?
That just like, I'm fully convinced that half of it, Jack is just like, yep, that is Vecna. Yes, that's Vecna. Yes, that's Vecna. Yes, that is absolutely now Vecna.
I don't know what you mean.
Like, and it's like, we'll just be like, oh, that tree looks suspicious. That tree is Vecna. And then 10 seconds later, the tree's sentient.
The best example I had, like, I can think of, it was a recent one, which is when you guys at the end of a session were like, we're going to set up an ambush. And I was like, shit. I don't know. I don't have anything for you for that planned. Luckily, you didn't do it before the end of the session, so then I spent the rest of the week putting together that. Whereas what a shitty DM would have been, I was like, no, can't set up an ambush. But I was like, yeah, okay, let's let them do it. It might not be as straightforward as they think, but let's give it a whirl. Build a map, put a scenario in, and that's the fun of it, because then you get to do the thing you wanted to do, and then you get to see it and then play it out.
Yeah.
And I love doing that. I love setting that up.
But then on the other hand of it, some of the stuff that you do prep gets completely missed and you never get to see it. Nope, you can't. It's gone.
I think one of the things about Grit Happens as well is like, it's slightly a two-sided coin, because the fact that we're doing it online means that we have managed to find people from all over the place, and that's why we've gotten lucky with who we've landed in. But we play out exclusively online, which is like, it's not the be all and end all, but I do often think how awesome it would be if like we were all in the same place, we were going down to the game shop to play and stuff like that. How cool that would be.
Like, follow, subscribe, so we can actually get to do these sort of things.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
As a DM and also as a player, you start your journeys differently. So as a DM, when you first start DMing, you write every single note that you possibly can, and you put down maps and descriptions, and what if they're going to ask this NPC, they've got to have a backstory and they've got to have some secrets, and what if they've got loot and stuff like this. And then as you go on as a DM, you literally get to 3 bullet points that just say, yeah, something in a forest.
Yep.
Like that. And then I think as a player, you start off where you are getting like baby footsteps. People are kind of holding your hand and just saying, well, you could roll this, or you could do this. And you're asking the DM a lot of questions. And then that naturally progresses into, I'm just going to tell the DM this. I'm going to search this body. And then that progresses into the role play thing, which is what everyone wants to kind of go for. It's like, I want to just look at this person's feelings and their depth of character and all this. And it's just the natural progression. I set up this big execution scene in a town square, and I had full monologues, and it was this big thing. And I presented it and, just described the whole scene. And Andy just went, yeah, I can't be doing with this. And turned around, and I'd planned it for like 2 sessions. It was like fully scripted, everything that was going to happen, assassinations, people on roofs, all this kind of intricate kind of political thing. And he just turned up at Town Square, and him and Darren just went, yeah, I'm not doing this. Internally, I melted. I kept it straight. Internally, I just went, I've got nothing now for about 2-3 sessions.
Oh,
and
sorry,
I love
mate.
that. No, don't be. I think that's what broke me into kind of going, I'm over preparing.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
over
done
preparing.
so many times. The amount of times I've sat down and I've spent hours looking for a map or making one, and then just being like, why?
Yeah.
I was spending 10 hours.
Yeah, the biggest change I made was not having a map for everything. Because being online and having Foundry, like, you get into this idea that you always need to have a token on the table. Did away with that. That was game changing, not needing a map for everything and just relying on theory of the mind. It made it a little bit harder for me because then I had to describe everything, but that was good practice anyway. But only going to the map when I really needed to really changed the amount of prep I needed to do.
Hugely.
Yeah, massive amount. And then just like accepting that what I might have planned might not be the way that people go, and that's fine.
And can I just say, big shout out to those creators who are creating these fantastic artworks of scenes for the various modules. The guys who do the Curse of Strahd Reloaded and the Dragna Carta series and all that, the people who have made the artwork for each individual scene in Curse of Strahd, you guys are fucking legends. You've saved my ass a million times.
It's so much easier just to pop up a visual of what they see rather than the whole map. The map is so easy for players just to fuck around in and get distracted by. Whereas if you just got theory in the mind and an image to help drive that, so much better.
I think that made such a difference as well. Like, as much fun as it was to be on a map and fuck around and find out kind of thing, because that's always what ended up happening, was someone would fuck off down the road and kick open a door with a dragon.
Or touch a flaming skull that went wake and then go, I'm going to run after it.
Or take the piss out of every single token that I've got on the map because they look like Taylor Swift.
If you're going to use the tokens that look like celebrities, we're going to mock you for it, okay?
And the ugly versions of them.
Yeah, like not even the good versions.
Yeah.
But like that made such a difference because it meant then that you had the image of what was going on in Foundry, but because of like Jack's descriptions and then Andy's descriptions, it made all the difference because you get better at imagining what it's like. And I feel like that adds a lot more of the fantasy element, because it sounds awful, but some of the maps, it's literally it's a box with some pretendy tables in it.
Pretendy tables.
Whereas like pretendy tables, they're not real tables. If I can put my token on that table in Foundry, it's not a real table.
I'll need you to make an athletics or acrobatics check then, please.
Well, I'm going to fail that, aren't I? It made it a lot easier because obviously rather than just being like, and this is the tavern, and everybody then fucks off to the 4 corners of the earth to figure out what's going on. You sit and you think about it, and it's like, oh, well, you've just said that there's a suspicious old man sitting in one corner, but there's a couple having an argument by the bar, and the bartender's just shouted at you because you've got wet shoes. And I just feel like that adds a lot more to the experience of the story.
Let me write that one down.
What, the bartender shouting at you because you've got wet shoes?
I do like that one. I shall use that one next time.
No, because
shoes and Strahd.
In Strahd, it would be the bartender shouting at you because somebody has shit in your shoes.
It was so funny when you figured out that Pip, you broke me that night when you found out that the serial shoe shitter had been in that house all along, and he was an old man, but he was being described as a child. And
Yeah.
I just, something in me, I haven't been right since. Like, I walked the world in a daze.
There's just something about like those. I think it was like 2 episodes
Yeah.
where the first one where we went to the house and he was there and he was described as this child playing cup and ball, and Tilly sat down and played cup and ball with him, like full blown, like sat on the floor and played this game, to the next session being like, oh yeah, by the way, he's actually like an 80-year-old man and he's shitting everyone's shoes and he's shitting the shoes of a dead man.
No, but it wasn't just that. It wasn't just those 2 things. Those 2 things were funny enough on his own. It was the fact the guy that was telling us about him was like, oh yeah,
He came with that.
I just took this house.
Came with the house.
What do you mean? I just took it. It's mine now. In Barovia, we take what we want, and I just took this house, and he came with it.
He came with it.
I will level with you guys because I feel like you're getting some kind of perception of me that is not true. I have not killed my wife. I have not ate my wife. And I will be straight with you. Kretskov is not my kid.
That's quite a
Whose
shock.
child is this?
Here in Barovia, we take.
You stole a child.
I didn't mean to steal the child. He come with the house. Right. Everything.
So you accidentally stole a child.
Yes.
That's not better.
I will tell you this. I will tell you a quick story, okay? Because as the more I explain things, the more you take the piss. Here in Barovia, when you want something, you take it. Okay?
You wanted a child?
No, I wanted the house. I had nowhere to live. Kretskov was in the house by himself. It felt a bit strange to kick him out, so I'd let him stay. I'm a nice guy.
See, now it's a bit weird that you're just living with a kid that's not yours.
Oh, God.
This seems like a safeguarding issue.
True. No,
I've got some concerns for his well-being.
Don't be concerned. We are friends. We are perfectly good friends. Fuck,
You're not making it better.
I'm not making this any better. Right, let's get the body. Let's go.
Has it occurred to you that maybe he's not a child?
Have you got the number for the Barovian Social Services?
That is an astute observation, my cow-looking friend. Kretskov is actually older than I am.
So there's a grown-ass man shitting in shoes.
Kretskov...
Just a really old midget. Shitting in shoe.
With the house. You just decided to live with him. You decided to live with this serial killer.
Jim loses it, so I lose it. So then everybody loses.
I lost it because you lost
Andy's
it.
face is just like this, like, what have I done?
Yeah, I hate saying, Andy, I could see you like on the back foot, but Jack had me on the ropes, and then Pip kept digging, and I just couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe.
The point that broke me was when I was asking about like why you were shitting in shoes, and he was like, "Well," and I was like, "Oh, do you shit in your own shoes?" And he's like, "Well, no. Would if you liked taking other people's ice cream, would you eat your own ice cream?" And I'm just like, yeah, because ice cream is fucking good.
Right.
Okay, Dimitri, I just want to
clarify.
clarify this because
Yes, please
I'm not the
clarify
smartest.
something. Yes.
You stole a house.
Yes.
The house came with what appears to be a child, but is in fact an old midget man. Yes?
No, well, from perspective, he is child. He looks like child. He acts like child, but he's mind.
But he is not child.
He is, no, well,
Okay.
in age terms, no. He has been here in Barovia longer than I have.
So you stole a house and you now live with a man who looks and acts and comes across and could pass as a child.
Yes.
And you live with him, and you are his friend.
Yes.
Dimitri, are there police in Barovia?
Thankfully, no.
Oh God.
This is my last question on the matter. Do you share a bedroom?
No. I
Thank
promise.
fuck for that.
There is whatever you're thinking, your class mind, no.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
The little shit disgusts me in every way possible.
That's how it starts.
But it was weird to kick him out.
Why? I mean, where would he go? Where would this poor boy go? And I will say, when I stole the house, no one was here. I know the house was... I didn't kill anyone to get in this house. That's what you're thinking. I didn't.
So if there was no one here, where did he come from?
He was
No,
already here.
You ask him.
He was living here.
You said he was already in the house, but there was no one here when you took the house, so he can't have been in the house. He just appeared, and you just let him stay.
The door
Was he
opens.
sitting at the end of your bed one morning?
The door opens and Kretschkov arrives.
Oh no. I just
You
choose-
weird little fuck.
Kretschkov, they're asking me terrible questions. Please, can you explain yourself? What
Kretschkov?
questions you got then?
How old are you?
82.
How long have you lived in this house?
75 years.
Where were you when Dimitri turned up?
In the corner.
What?
So you were in the house when he got here?
Yes.
Okay. Farah's just
What
going
do
to
you
grab
have
Weft
against you?
and just point at Weft and just go, can you show me on the weird Spider-Man where Dimitri touched you?
Whoa, no. This man not touch me. This man is been okay. This man is okay. No weird shit. I promise
Except
no
in
weird
boots.
shit.
Shitting in shoes is a bit weird.
Yeah. Why the shitting in shoes?
And the eating people.
Oh no, I've never eaten anyone personally. Dimitri, the other Barovians, they often eat people. What you must be aware of here in Barovia is we have different customs to you and I. I don't know why I'm explaining this to you fuckers. To be quite honest, I just think I have to defend my friend Dimitri here. Just fuck off and take your friends for a shit in your shoe.
But why the shitting in shoes?
Because I like to shit in shoes.
Why is that a threat and a pleasure?
The only joy I have in this world is ball in a cup and shitting in shoes.
Do you shit in your own shoes?
Why the fuck would I shit in my own shoes?
Because your only pleasure is shitting in shoes.
Oh, if you took pleasure out of eating ice cream from other people, would you eat your own ice cream?
Yes, because I really like eating ice cream. Ice cream is ice cream.
Fuck this. I'm out. I'm going back to the pub. Right. As a tip to any DMs starting out, if you've got a very important NPC at the start of a campaign that is you're supposed to figure him out as you go along, right? He's supposed to pop up. Think of what your players are going to ask him, because they will ask him how he's randomly achieved his house. Don't just make random stuff up on the spot, because it sticks with you for ages, like a kid shitting in shoes or him stealing a house. And I promise you, those things actually will make sense one day. One day.
I think this is what one of the things that for me makes Crit Happen so special, though, is because, you know, you as DMs, and I include Jacob and Kate and the other DMs, like, you're willing to just go with whatever happens. And you try so hard not to shut us down. Like if Pip's character wants to get to the bottom of the person shitting in shoes, how old he is, where he came from, you know, you don't just shut that conversation down. You turn him into a goddamn warlock and make him pop up somewhere later. Like if my character and Jacob's character enter a romantic relationship as part of the campaign, Jack could just say, okay, fine, you do you, but that's it. But I know that you're trying, you know, you work that in to what we're doing. I possibly didn't expect to be stabbed in the neck by my lover, but I know that if I DM you something, Andy, about like, Sammy has got this horrible curse of lycanthropy, which is only supposed to be a side effect from being bitten in a random fight by a werewolf, and I can DM you, and we can turn it into a whole thing.
Yep.
We can turn it into a story arc. Like, so I think the fact that the players are creative and wanting to like have that camaraderie with each other and the banter, but also as DMs, you give us the space to do that. I think that's something really special.
Yeah, and it's what evokes the emotions in me. So, talking about that lycanthropy thing, so when you fight a werewolf and they bite you, there is a certain chance that you can contract lycanthropy if you roll bad on a Constitution saving throw, something like that. That happened to one of my PCs. It's supposed to just be a way of, oh no, I need to cure my lycanthropy or I might die. It just gets you to seek out somebody with remove curse, restoration, something like that. It's just guiding you towards a path. But instead, Sam has decided, hey, this is really cool. I want to do something with it. I could quite easily go, no, you just need to find someone with remove curse. You just need to find greater restoration or something like that. And to be fair, even if I said that, you, Sam, would go, okay, fair enough. But it's more cooler from my perspective to go, okay, how far can we take this? Now, on the other side of the coin is you have been bitten by a werewolf. You have failed your checks. So I'm going to make you work for it. It's not going to be, you'll become a werewolf with magical powers and you can fly in the sky. Do you know what I mean? No, you're... What's wrong with werewolves flying in the sky, Jack? You look like you've... Can't rules lawyer me. Rules lawyer me.
I've not seen that block, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, he could cast fly.
But you're right, Sam, about the playing into what you guys are doing. Like, so I knew all along that I was going to have that guy possess Laboran. It was going to be Laboran, and it was going to be Shimmer that he shanked as a result. Because, not because I wanted to get at either of you for any particular reason, but the narrative that will then drive between you is going to be really fun and really interesting. And that's why I did that. So I could just do nothing with what you're doing in that whole, RP relationship, but I think it'd be more interesting if I played into it and did something with it. So I'm like, now I've done that, I'm really interested to see what the fallout is going to be. That's fun for you guys. Like, it's awful right now. Like, right now it's like fucking traumatic. But if you think about it after the fact that it's happened, it's really actually kind of cool because it plays into what's going on. But if I just left you guys to do what you wanted and just not play into it at all, it'd be all right, but it'd be more interesting if there was some kind of part of the story that was laid into it.
I think it's good, though. It's testament to the trust that we have as players in you as DMs as well. Like, we've gotten to know you a little bit over the last year as DMs at any rate. And I know, and Jacob know, that you wouldn't do that. I trust you enough not to kill another player character, not to kill my character off just for a narrative for another player. So, although what's happened between two characters that are in a relationship is pretty, as you said, it would be traumatic and there will be fallout from it. I can trust you as a player that you've not done it for nefarious reasons or to get at either of us. There's nothing personal. It's purely to drive the narrative, because I know that that's the kind of DM you are, and I appreciate that massively. And I know Jacob's in the same boat. So, it's just there's kind of a bond of trust, I feel, between all of us as players and DMs that play together often, and I think that's something that's actually really important. Yeah,
no, very much so. I don't, because I'm also a player in Jack's campaign, and I don't think there's trust between me and Jack. I just know that he physically can't kill my PC, because I'm just too good.
Challenge accepted.
You think Eldritch is a 62-year-old?
Yes. I could be of any age. I don't know. I don't even know my own name. I've got typical D&D backstory.
No, I've got no backstory for him at all.
When I played, I got from Andy a gnome, and it just said likes collecting femurs. And I was like,
Okay,
yeah, let's work with that.
yeah, go with it.
I think I gave Jack a paragraph on Willow, and then there was just 1 week after the session I was like, I'm bored. So I sat and wrote a 7-page novel.
Another tip for DMs, right? If somebody sends that to you, use the read aloud function.
Yeah. I've done that. I've done that.
That's incredible.
Don't sit and read it.
Thank goodness. I feel like something's lifted off me.
In answer to your question about backstories for my character, Jack, I want you to, in about 6 months' time, rewatch this episode and just see me go like that. All right?
All right.
All right? I've got you. I've got a backstory. It's coming.
Long game for about a 10-second.
So return here on the 20th of April 2025 and we'll find out what the fuck Andy's on about.
Mine, in terms of note-taking, I think, going back to what we were talking about earlier, is I think when I first started DMing, I made so many notes. God almighty. I had everything. I had like every single check that you guys could have possibly made at the time. They're DCs, like 4 different outcomes of like DC 12, you would see this. DC 15, you would see this. Oh, just I don't think I've done that since the first 2 sessions. But
here's a question then, right? Andy, and Jim, raise your hand if you've made up the DC after the roll.
All 3 raised their hands if you're not watching but just listening. All the hands went up.
Yeah. Or the illusion of option where you say there's a DC, but it was never going to happen.
Yes. My favourite one is getting the PCs to roll stealth checks, right? So I know as a DM that there ain't nothing that's going to spot them. But I want them to roll a stealth check. I want them to feel like they have to be moving stealthily. So I'll be like, roll a stealth check for me, please. And they might roll a 12. And I'd go, shouldn't have rolled a 12. That's a bad one. Nah, ain't nothing happening.
I love shit like that. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about it as DMs, but one of my favourite things when I'm watching people play Dungeons and Dragons is when somebody is in the middle of combat and there's nothing around, and this is probably very like aimed at Jacob, but it's not meant to be, and they're just like, I would like to hide behind X, Y, and Z, and the DM just goes, I mean, you can, but everybody, like, it doesn't matter what you roll, everybody has seen you hide behind this like table or something.
A bonus action
and it's like,
hide.
they're so adamant, they're like, but I've hidden, and you're like, yeah, but like you have hidden, you've hidden very well, you are hidden you, but everybody has just seen where you have hidden.
But a nat 20 stealth check is just invisibility, right, Andy?
It is, yes. You completely go from view, right? You are see-through, transparency. Like Jim, now I can't see him. He's bonus action hide right there.
I've got to say, that's what makes D&D for me, is not only all the storytelling. People think that you've got to win it like it's a game. That you've got to roll, and it's got to be high rolls, and if I get a 20, I'll succeed. But it's when you get the ones, they are the funniest thing ever.
Toes and wrists.
Is what?
Toes and wrists.
Yeah. Mate, if I could, as a player, like elect to only roll natural ones for the entirety of my campaign, I'd allow it. I prefer a natural 1 over a natural 20 any day.
That's a really important thing, isn't it? Is like how you deal with the rules. And I think I have to admit, and obviously naturally as a player, you want natural 20s. You want to do the cool shit, and you want the cool shit to happen and everything to go well and for you to crit on every hit and everything's great and it's amazing. But I genuinely think the times that I have most enjoyed playing D&D is when everything has been going to shit. So it's all been natural 1s, or it's been like 5s, or I've rolled a natural 1 and there's a halfling got to re-roll it and rolled a natural 1, and like shit like that happens, and then you roll a natural 20. There's something about everything going horribly, horribly wrong, and then you, like, in a clutch moment, you inflict wounds. Favorite. And you hit that natural. Like
in a clutch moment,
in a clutch.
you roll a nat 20 to talk down the dragon that's being actively battered by the rest of your party. You're trying to convince it that actually you surrender.
Yeah. And it's like, it's that moment that just makes playing D&D so much cooler, because it's like, that could just not have happened and you would have continued to like roll like shit and something completely different. But that single moment of rolling that 20 and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you've caused 3,000 points of damage. Or actually, the dragon has listened to you and fucked off and you're not all dead. Well done.
The organic moments that you get with just a single narrative storyteller, rules lawyer, whatever you want to call a DM, a player who's making choices, and dice. Just those three things in combination make anything possible.
And don't forget, statistics don't exist.
Yeah. Part of any game that we can ask about is the dice. They're the one storyteller that we have no control over, and that is the whole point.
Yep.
If you're not listening to them doing what they say, you're doing it wrong.
You get passionate about it as well when it rolls wrong, and you're like, "What? Why am I cursed?" I tell you what, as a DM, there's nothing that puts you more on the back foot than when someone rolls badly, and you've got to do like a natural one, and then you think, "Oh, shit! How does this fail? Because that was epically bad. How do I describe this?" Or if you need them to discover something and they're rolling so poor, and you go, how else am I going to get these guys to find this? Because holy shit.
Yeah.
I feel it still haunts me to this day. Like I genuinely think about it like sometimes about that player's kind of death. And I didn't really give them the opportunity to kind of talk about at the time you kill the player and it's you want them to kind of say, do you have any final words, or do you have anything, or how you feeling about that, because you invest a lot of time in players, you put out a lot of thought. And I think about it to this day. I just went, okay, we'll move on, that's the end of the session, great, all right everyone, see you next week, bye. And then honestly,
no, the thing is about that is that works when everybody's had an investment in that character.
Yeah.
Right. So when Kit was killed in the Useless Facts, before it was named that meant something. I'm pretty sure that hadn't been around for quite a few. Like, he dropped in and out of sessions. We hadn't really RP'd with him much. It was kind of like,
Yeah. And to be fair, it's the same for Greg, my player character. He was there. I think me and Kate went through this. I think it was only 3 sessions that he was there, and then I went, Jack, I don't like him. Could I have another one, please? And we didn't do any kind of last words, or we just murdered him, didn't we? It all boiled down to no one gave a shit about Greg. I didn't give a shit about Greg, and we carried on.
I like Greg. I thought he was all right.
Well, maybe one day he'll come back.
I love that because it gives you that insight into like not only the player but the character as well. Because no matter, I say this all of the time, but the minute that any of my characters are unconscious and I'm rolling death saves, I've accepted they're dead.
Yeah.
Like I could roll a natural 20 on my first death save and be up with 1 hit point. I've already accepted that they're dead. Like, I'm just like, right, okay, I'm going to die. This is the end. And I immediately start processing what that would look like. And I don't know whether that's just for me or if it's like trying to process for if and when I get asked, like, you're dead now, what are your final thoughts? But like, I'm just like, okay, I'm dead. This is fine. This is great.
I just asked for characters' final words unnecessarily.
Another thing that I really enjoy about It Happens, and this is probably facilitated more by playing online rather than in person, is the amount of avenues of creativity that we have as players as well, because there's so much that goes on in between sessions. We've had characters RP with each other in text chat. If that didn't happen, then Laborin and Shimmer probably wouldn't be together, or it certainly wouldn't have happened the way it did. Adam types his notes up at the end of every Fandelver session, and we all sit and wait for those to come out. His comical observations on the characters and what's happened to them that session. That's really good.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, there's some, silly random cow that keeps posting very poorly written poetry about characters because she plays a bard and she thinks it gives her license to, impose her stupidity on other people. So there's all sorts of other stuff that goes on in between as well that kind of keeps it alive, and, the banter and stuff. And I think that's really good as well.
I think that's what I like about playing online, is like there's so much, like you say, creativity that you can put into stuff. But I also like the fact that you can play on the fly. Yeah. So like during a session playing online, you've got the option to like DM someone and be like, I want to do this with your character, or like I'll DM Jack, or Jack will normally DM me to demand something. And like it's just, it gives you that sort of like freedom to play with your character and your backstory and the story as it's happening, that you can't do when you're playing live. Like you can't just walk up to the DM halfway through a session and like whisper in his ear.
But we do all kind of like push each other as DMs. And I'll see your stuff, like some of your guys' stuff, and I'll think, that was fucking expertly delivered. I love that. And then you push each other as players as well, because again, it comes back to that journey where you're starting and you don't quite know. At first, it's kind of like, I go there, I pick up this, I investigate that. And then as it kind of develops, like the Icewind Dale that we're doing on at the minute, no one quite knows each other. So it is still very much at the, I look at the body. Is the body dead? Yeah, the body's dead, mate.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that it kind of grows arms and legs and you guys are in character and doing that, I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, you very much have to, in the early few sessions of any campaign, you're all just trying to figure out everyone's vibes, how everyone reacts to certain situations. You do it as a DM, but you also do it as a player as well. Yeah. Is like, some players may not like to take the initiative when talking to a brand new NPC that has approached them and said, have you heard about this man who's been murdered on the road? It normally takes one or two of those players to go, you know what, sir? I would love to hear about this man who's been murdered on the road. Whereas other players would like to come in sort of halfway through a conversation, or take notes throughout the conversation, or do something else while that conversation is going on. So it's finding that vibe and the specific roles of players. You normally find that out quite early on in a campaign. And I think we've all know each other's vibes by now, don't we?
That leads very nicely into my final question, which is for any of you really, who, if there's anyone out there now listening to this or watching this and they think, yeah, I want a piece of that, but maybe they're a bit nervous about, coming into a group of what seems to be now established friends or established groups, what advice would you give them? How would you encourage them to come and join the party?
Come on in. Give me a DM.
The water's warm. You close at the side of the pool and jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just I mean, we're quite active on like all the kind of D&D various Facebook pages that are out there. We've obviously got, Andy can attest to this. You've got amazing YouTube.
Follow, subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. Like, follow, subscribe, press the button, click the bell.
DM tactic for everyone. Pretend you don't know what something is and get your players to explain it. Like, follow, subscribe, and hit a bell, guys.
I'm not sure that's encouraged anyone to join, Andy, but yeah, thanks.
No, I don't know about you guys. I'd really encourage anyone to jump in. Anyone new, don't be scared. It is scary. Don't be scared, and just reach out, because we've all been in that position where we've gone, I want to learn D&D and I have no idea what to do. And those guys look like they know it. And I hate the idea of that being a blocker. I really encourage everyone to.
And on the other side of it, if you're not confident enough to take the plunge into a game, just come in and chat to us. You can chat to us privately. You can chat to us as a community if you'd like any help to build out a character, because that's normally where people start. They go, hey, what's this about? What's this race like? What's this race like to play? What's this class play like? Give it a go. We're more than happy to just sit down, chat to you, tell us our opinions, but ultimately it's however you all want to play it, and we're all here to chat to you about it.
People should, like, it's hard to get into a game. That's a fact. And even in our server where there's so many people and there's so many things going on, it's still hard to get in a game. But if you linger around enough and you get involved and you chat and you say hi and all that kind of stuff, we'll chat to you as well. Like, you know, like you said, like we want to talk about this stuff as often as possible because we've got a lot of passion for it. So if you want to immerse yourself with people that are also passionate about it, then jump in and let us chat. And then hopefully when a campaign comes up or a one shot or whatever, you'll get a chance to jump in or run your own. Like, that's cool too. And we'll help you. Like, if you want to learn how to use Foundry because it's there and we've got access to it, we'll help you out. We'll help you set that up. If you want to throw stuff on YouTube, help you do all that as well. So, don't be frightened of it. We're only random people on the internet.
Well, now that's over.